Hey, what's up, everybody? If you're watching this, you know who I am. That's right. Had some interesting things come up. By the way, I'm the creator and director and did a little bit of everything on Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter. Now, take away my spooky music. So, it was brought to my attention recently, and I know that this question has been asked before. How did Tiffany Shepis, the Scream Queen, the horror movie actress, how did she get involved in your film, Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter? Tiffany Shepis, a well-known actress. She's been in here she is in Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter. Uh, Very well liked, and she's got a small scene in our movie. So I wanted to explain and show scene comparisons of Tiffany Shepis in our films, Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter. This, by the way, the film's available on, you can watch it, Tubi, Plex, Fossum, Amazon Prime. You can get the Blu-ray on Vinegar Syndrome, yada, yada, yada. You guys know what it is. It's out there. But here's the thing. We had a very nice group recently do a review on the film. And they were reviewing the film mostly because, well, pretty much the only reason is because Tiffany Shepis was in it. Tiffany Shepis is in our film. So here is this, and I'll kind of show it to you. They have this. Let me bring it up, monkey. There you go. There it is. This is called Gore Fest, and it is called, I think it's called the Outpost. Matthew, Rachel, they have a pretty cool show here, and they were just going through different a review of the movie and their insights and why wasn't Tiffany Shepis in it more and this and that. So I reached out to them because I'll be 100% clear and honest here. I check probably once a month, maybe sometimes twice a month, to see if people are stealing the movie on Daily Motion or YouTube, piracy type stuff. And I saw this pop up, and this question has been asked a lot. So I told Matthew about this, and I said, you know what, I'll just make a video and just send it over to you, make it available on our site, and just kind of touch base with you and kind of go from there. So check it out. This is Gore Fest at Tiffany's, episode 8, Witches, Vampires, Cults, and Evil Nuns. So that's the name of that one right there. But get a chance to check them out, and we'll explain it here. I'll explain it. I'm the only person who is involved in all eras of the film. And when I say all eras of the film, going back to when it was Live Evil, from starting in 2006 to when we wrapped filming, believe it or not, in 2007. So we probably started shooting some test footage in late, and which is actually, that test footage is in the film, but late 2005. We shot the opening scene in 2006, March 2006. We waited till about 8 months, and then October, November is when we started doing the car chases in late 2006. And then we finished in September 2007. For people who don't know, we shot a lot on weekends and spread out. Thomerson shot first. The Vampires shot second. And we're going to get to Tiffany Shepis' involvement here in a moment. But yeah, check out that website. The group is called, and this is the reason I'm making the video. I'm glad they made the video. It's called Outpost Unknown is the name of their channel. And you could check them out at Outpost Unknown, at Outpost Unknown on YouTube. So a nice group of guys and gals over there. Got a chance to talk to them. But, there's a lot of insights and misinformation out there. And, there are some people who were involved with the Samurai Priest era, which was from 2017 to 2022, 2023. And there were people who were involved in the Live Evil era. And they're not really the same thing. Live Evil shot in, like I said, 2006, and was released by Warner Brothers on demand and Netflix on streaming by 2009, November 2009. I am the only person, and because there's a lot of people who talk a lot of different stuff out there about this film on the internet who really don't know. I am the only person who was involved in all aspects of the film. I'm the sole copyright owner of the film. The Hollywood Reporter interviewed me. There's a great write-up interview there about the history of the film in the Hollywood Reporter. You can look, it's called AFM's Hidden Gems from 2023. But specifically today, this is about Tiffany Shepis. So people are, so why don't you just have Tiffany Shepis in the whole film? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why, there's been these questions. Tiffany Shepis never auditioned for the movie. A very nice lady and a very, very late addition. Here's the story of it. And by the way, what I'm going to do for the people who are interested is at the end of this, I'm going to play Live Evil, the Tiffany Shepis scene from Live Evil, and then I'm going to play the Tiffany Shepis scene from Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter, so you can see the difference in what we did and how we updated it, and the difference in the performance and the different takes and all that kind of stuff. But there was a film that was out there. So, like I said, we started in 2006. Uh, there's different people out there that say they directed it and this and that. I mean, we started with a guy named Vito Tribuco, who did Bloody Bloody Bible Camp. Jay Warfel did some stuff in the middle. I did all the stuff at the end. Don't forget, in the middle of the movie, throughout the movie, I did all the action. So it's like I tried to credit it as fairly as possible. By the way, the two gentlemen that I mentioned at the beginning, they had nothing to do with Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter or the additional 20 days that we shot or the restoration or the rewriting of the script or any of that kind of stuff. They just were part of it. Some of those people I haven't talked to in years, but everybody has kind of a different insight. But the story is it was brought to my attention, and I think it was by Jay, because he wanted Tiffany Shepis in a film of his. I think it's called Asylum of Darkness. So this is how it was brought to my attention. We are filming literally our last day. It's like September 2008. We're done. This is the Live Evil era. We're done. There's almost nothing else to film. And I'm kind of brought up to me that, hey, we can have Tiffany Shepis in the scene. And I'm like, it's cool, but I don't know. I mean, don't forget, as a producer and, as a director and as a guy who's got his hand in all this kind of stuff too, every time you run film through that camera, it costs you money. You got to develop it. You got to buy the film stock. We shot this on Super 16 millimeter. It's like the movie's done. Well, something could be written. There were some ideas pitched, and she could be in this party scene. So it was brought to my attention that it could be possible, and it could happen. By the way, at the beginning of the film, I probably, even if it was pitched to me and I'm the sole decision maker, the Tiffany Shepis, I heard, the Outpost Unknown folks say, oh, she could have played the Osa Wallander Sydney character, or, Ava Derrick's character, or Roxy's character, which is the African-American actress that's with Tim Thomerson throughout the movie. I would have never considered her for that role, because I know that, man, we had Tim Thomerson with his schedule, and, his schedule to put Tiffany Shepis, who works a lot, and we're shooting on weekends over months, would be tough. And then you got 4 vampires, and I said we have the 2 vampire slayers. You have them together. That was tough with actors that might not be as known. And obviously she is known and she works a lot, so she could be gone. It just would have been too tough scheduling. It was hard as hell as it is. So I probably wouldn't have considered it up front. And the other aspect of it is not making it too much of a quote unquote fanboy thing. Even the cameo, I kind of wanted to shy away from fanboy things. I like her. I think she's a good actress. I think she's great. She does a great job in this, in the 90 seconds she's in it. But there's a bigger reason why I didn't want her in this. And I remember telling Jay, I was like, yeah, I don't know. And hear me out on this, because it's not a bad thing. It has nothing to do with her personally. I'm going to show you in 2026 the reason I didn't want her in this, because I knew that this would happen. Well, I mean, look at the review from Outpost Unknown. They're like, she's only in it in 90 seconds. What about this? What about that? And she's kind of an overshadowing presence. It kind of goes down to this. If you check out the Amazon here, and let me bring this up real quick, you can see the problem. And this is what I'm talking. I don't know if you go, well, let's make it a little bit bigger. You see there on the top, that is the Blu-ray, okay? And the Blu-ray, you can see the meta tags, Tim Thomerson, and by the way, I did all the Blu-ray, the one that says $20.99. Tim Thomerson, Osa Wallander, Mark Hanks, Ken Foray. Okay. By the way, Ken Foray shot for 12 hours one day with us, but he had a lot, and he was like the and credit. That was all negotiated. And he shot about 60% of the way into the movie, but like, this is having Tiffany Shepis is like a feather in our cap. It's cool. It's like a cherry on the top of the Sunday week, But you look at it, okay, Tim Thomerson, Osa Wallander, Mark Hanks, Ken Foray, and then directed by Mark Terry. That's That's right. That's correct. Well, if you look at it down here, now this is the on-demand one. This is what I'm talking about. I'm gonna make this bigger. This one I didn't have anything to do with. Guess what they did? And this is exactly was my concern. See the cast in the bottom right-hand corner? Tim Thomerson, Ken Foray, and Tiffany Shepis. Now it's 20 years later. Somebody comes and watches the movie, and they're like, "Oh, I thought Tiffany Shepis was in this. Oh, she's only in this for a minute." He ripped me off. That was my concern with it, was the fact that she's so known, and it was a bonus, and it ended up working, that like there would be somebody out there, and it happened with the Live Evil International DVDs, and it happened with the uh Samurai Priest stuff. Now, obviously, if it's in my hands and I can control it, I give her the with credit because she's certainly deserving, but it puts it in a tough situation. And I don't think it's fair marketing. And it's not something that I want to do. But I'm glad we had her. I think she did a good job. And there is some interesting stuff here that kind of comes into play. She comes on set, meet her. We were shooting at my old apartment in Playa del Rey. That's the one where Thomerson's walking up the stairs. Actually when Thomerson walks up the stairs with the baby vampire scene and all that. It's all the same place. She just shot in the room to the left. And she came in. I just remember her being very cool. She was a lot shorter than I thought she was. She took off like her high heels, very short, very cool on set, very respectful, very nice. She was only there for like 6 hours. Like I said, the literally last day of the Live Evil, last thing that we ever shot. And it was kind of like an add-on scene. So, it makes it tough, but and here's the thing. There was a film out there for people who want to see a full Tiffany Shepis film. And this man came to the set that day. I would highly suggest this movie right here, Nightmare Man, which she actually is the main character of. Rolf Konevsky did this. So we shot with her in mid-September 2007. And this film had existed since 2006, Nightmare Man, which got into 8 Films to Die For. This used to be a kind of a festival that would go around, it would play like in 250 theaters. And, well, it wasn't a festival, it was a theatrical release. So I guess a festival is probably the wrong term for it, for maybe like a week or two. And the second year, Rolf Konevsky's film that stars Tiffany Shepis, Nightmare Man, was part of this series. In fact, I went and saw the movie in Culver City. I sat next to Rolf Konevsky afterwards. Don't forget, he shot with us. They shot with us in September. Rolf who directed this film and it starred Tiffany, came to our set. And then a couple months later, his film was in theaters. So it was cool to meet him. It was cool to have her, but it was just kind of something that evolved. And she's, all the screenings we've had and the press and the promotions and this and that, she's never really been part of it. I mean, she worked on it for like 6 hours. I mean, what's she supposed to do? Spend her life promoting the movie? It's not going to happen. I mean, we're just happy that she came and was a part of what we did. Now, going back to the Jay Warfel film, Asylum of Darkness, she worked on that, from what I understand, a couple days. That film shot after Live Evil, and it took like this favor that I think she was brought on our set in order to get her into somebody else's film. That's what I believe. That's what I've been told. That film actually had Thomerson for a couple days and her. It took 7 years for that movie to get distributed. 7 years before it ever, I think it was shot in 2011 and it didn't release till like 2018 or something. This is what I've been told, allegedly. I don't know, but I heard 6 or 7 years that it took to get released. And she's only in a scene or that too. Now, Nightmare Man, something different, would highly suggest it. So let's move on here. Let's get to some of the crux of the conversation that people have been talking about. And I kind of, just me talking only is just, not enough. So I employed and asked the advice of our editor and colorist, Michael Hoffman. Michael Hoffman was kind enough to give this recorded interview. Actually gave it today. And what he did in don't forget, Mike Hoffman was not involved in Live Evil. He came in and was one of the forces to make Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter what it is, when we restored it, recut it, put the new music into it, put the new visual effects. A lot of people talk about the comic book stuff. They didn't have the budget. No, the comic book stuff was to help, with old scenes and kind of filling gaps. And, there was never anything for a train scene or anything. We just thought that would be cool to add it in and kind of make it different, to make a creep show, hide bad film footage that was underexposed, that kind of stuff. There's a Filmmaker magazine article out there from, I think, 2019 that's also suggested reading, on an article that I wrote. So anyways, Mike Hoffman did this interview today, and you can hear it from him directly since he's the one who cut it. Obviously, I was involved in it. Let's see what Mike Hoffman has to say with the difference between what he did from Live Evil, and he wasn't involved in Live Evil, which Live Evil was a very slow, kind of almost rough cut. 100 minutes, 1,200 edits. Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter is 93 minutes and 2,300 edits. 12 more days shooting, all the deleted scenes put back in, cut faster, the tempo, the pacing is all sped up. There's a ton more in it in a 7-minute shortened period of time. Here's what Mike has to say about the Tiffany Shepis scene. Okay, we got Mike Hoffman here who cut and edited the film. Mike, what did you do different in the Tiffany Shepis scene compared to Live Evil?
I think the main difference is, like all of the film, is that we decided, instead of just laying on it and lingering on it as one scene, we just showcased that it was happening concurrently with other things at the party, so we ended up doing it as intercuts. I think I used a few alternate takes, mainly because some of the film was flashed, which is when you're loading or changing, you accidentally expose the film to light elements. So the corners were actually blown out in some, so I ended up having to punch in a little bit. The other thing was they're having a tough time lighting that room, and I think if you watch the original cut, some grip equipment, light gels, and maybe even a camera slips in the mirror on the takes they used, if I'm not mistaken. So essentially, it's just a tighter trim. Some alternate takes, mainly for quality reasons, and just to keep things flowing, creating the idea of it just being intercut concurrently with the rest of the story.
Okay, we got Mike Hoffman here who cut and edited. So there it is. There's Mike Hoffman giving his explanation. Thank you, Mike, for coming on that. And that's one of the things, too. See, we had the advantage of, when we made Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter, we had the advantage of, from 2009 to 2017, 8 years of reviews, German reviews, Thailand. I mean, all over the world, we had reviews. And I listened to all those reviews. And one of the biggest things that was out there was that party scene, which Tiffany Shepis is in. It drags. It drags. So what can we do? I mean, there was a scene with a midget and all this stuff. We took all that out. How can we get in and out of the party scene and get to Ken Foray as soon as possible? Now we added a scene with Tiffany Shepis. The way to do that was to intercut. Now, when you watch Live Evil, it's just a raw, lazy, edited cut where it's just one scene, and it's a little bit longer. I think it's about 90 seconds, versus Tiffany Shepis is in it for about 60 seconds on camera, but it's cut over 2.5 minutes. So let's watch first her in Live Evil. Granted, this is standard definition, and what this looks like. And then we will show second what it looks like in Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter. So here it is, Tiffany Shepis scene, letterbox and all that, standard definition, interlaced. This is the cut that was the original cut for Live Evil.
Yeah, just a second. I'm finding vein. How's the party going out there? Guys all drunk and passed out. Chicks start making out with each other yet?
Yeah.
Why is it all these fakey female vampire types? They're all pussy hounds. I hit on you yet, princess?
I wouldn't give them a chance.
Me neither. Not that I mind. Just prefer dick. what I preach. Sample?
I don't think he's gonna make it.
There's plenty more where he came from. Everyone that comes to one of Max's vampire happenings wants to flirt with death. Sometimes they get fucked. Personally, I think they should just get a life. What is it that you guys can afford? Oh,
Tonight you pay the price.
So you can see it's kind of drab. Mike talked about the camera being in that mirror. I think that in that edit, they pushed in a little bit to hide it. When you're pushing in standard definition, and obviously it's going to make it even look worse. But so there is that. Now, right back to back, let's check out Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter, which is a little bit more. It's a lot, not a little bit more. I don't want to BS here. It's a lot more upbeat. It's faster. The music's changed. You're going to see it's quicker in pacing. And that's our goal, is to kind of get out of this party. And it stretches Tiffany Sheen's her scene out. Plus, you're going to have alternate takes and all this and that. But it's roughly the same idea, but it moves us through this party a lot faster. Here we go.
yeah, just a second. How's the party going out there? Guys all drunk and passed out. Chicks start making out with each other yet?
Yeah.
Why is it all these fakey female vampire types? They're all pussy hounds. Sure they hit on you, huh, princess?
I wouldn't give them a chance.
You should be in the movies with moves like that.
Actually, I used to be in pictures.
Pictures.
Movies, I mean. You're too young to remember.
I'm not that young.
Never too young in my book.
Hey, is that movie old enough for you to be in it?
Actually, watch closely here.
How'd you do that?
You all know vampires are eternal beings. I was on my way to being big, and sound came in. He said I had an accent.
Sample?
I don't think he's gonna make it.
There's plenty more where he came from.
You set this up to impress me, to get me naked.
I didn't, I promise.
So, does that mean you don't want to see me naked?
Absolutely not.
Everyone that comes to one of Max's vampire happenings wants to flirt with death. Sometimes they get fucked. But I'll do whatever they want as long as they can pay for it. Speaking of, what can you guys afford?
Tonight you pay the price.
And there we go. So that last, the Samurai Priest version, I just grabbed off Tubi real quick. So don't worry about the the quality of it, just to kind of show it to you guys here. But there is that that guy who was in the bed, the Asian guy, buddy of mine, Duke Tran. He was in a Vietnam film of mine. I was like, dude, you're going to be in a scene with Tiffany Shepis, and he's not a a horror movie fan. He's like, I was like, you should be honored. He's like, okay, cool. So I'm still buddies with him to this day. But yeah, I mean, Tiffany's had a great career. I'm very thankful that it ended up working out the way it did with her. It was a very cool addition. I hope people don't look at it like she's the main character of the movie because somebody else decides to promote it that way. I would never do that. We spent 5 years restoring this. I did put her in with credit because I think she deserves that. And I mean, that's essentially it. There's no real hidden conspiracy theory, but I just wanted to give it as clear as possible. Wasn't 100% sure. I mean, things ended up working out the way that I thought they were, but they did. But it ended up being the best for everybody. And I know she's still working, and she's still busy at what she's doing, and I can wish her nothing but the best. And I can tell you this, watch Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter on all of our channels that are out there, all of our networks that are out there. Well, they're not mine, but they're Amazon Prime, Tubi, Plex, Fossum. There are more like the B Stream. So this is our Tiffany Shepis screen comparison. And on this channel, if you want to hear more from Mike Hoffman, you don't have to hear it directly from me. There is a really good documentary, a film restoration documentary out there, and it's on this channel. It's about 17 minutes long, and it talks about the 5-year restoration process of Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter with Mike Hoffman and Joey Butera from the sound and the restoration and the color. That's must-watch material, too. So thank you to the guys from the Outpost, the guys and gals over there. Thank you to people who are watching Samurai Priest Vampire Hunter or have the Blu-ray. Thank you to Tiffany Shepis for doing it. Thank you to Rolf Koneski. I really appreciate it. And we will see you somewhere down the road. Watch the movie. Tell a friend about it. We're kicking ass and taking names like the priest. All right, I'll see you later.